years of growth. This is CNN.
I want to get some more thoughts from our guests, but let's get some calls in as well. Dallas, hello.
Hello?
Yes.
This is Ken Jackson.
Yes, Ken.
In Dallas, Texas.
Yes, sir.
I was part of a joint venture partnership that purchased 70 acres of land for development in northwest Tarrant County, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And after purchasing the land, which we closed on June the 23rd of 1986 for $1,130,000, we found a lot of discrepancies in the loan closing paperwork, in what we had been told by the saving institution.
Were you suspicious then?
No, sir. Not when we first closed. I wasn't as suspicious as I got 60 days later when our figures and theirs didn't match on exactly how much money was left in the development loan.
Are you shocked by all of this?
Dismayed is a better word.
Where now?
Well, I am totally broke. We've lost everything we had, and on top of that, I've had a stroke, which paralyzed my right side. I fooled around for 3 years in court trying to get the federal government to unwrap their arms around this particular lending institution, which was Olney Savings and Loan, and let us at them in state court. We never got that done until just about 3 or 4 months ago.
I hope everything comes out all right with you. Before we take the next call, Ralph, you had some problems with what Jack said?
Well, my biggest problem is with them having the money to the newspaper. Who's going to pay, for example, for my ads, to help the ego of the actors that come across my boards and who work endless hours to promote my product and to our customers to get the word out to them? I mean, basically, if his saving institution is taken over by the federal government, it's the taxpayers paying for ads that go in a newspaper to help the ego of his employees. And that bothers me.
If that's as far as it went, I think you have a good point. But sometimes standing up for what's right and boosting employee morale is boosting customer interest and is good business. And indeed, on the Monday following the running of those ads, which were in 5 papers in the Boston area, we did $21 million in home mortgage volume, our all-time, our best day in 3.5 years. And in that month, we made approximately $500,000 in our mortgage business. So it was good business, which reduced what otherwise would be the loss to the government. And oh, by the way, it improved morale substantially, which is very important to managing these assets, whether for the taxpayers or for the shareholders.
And we're very fortunate to have shows like Larry King Live that there's give us an opportunity for our forum because we don't have the government financing us to create an ego gratification for our staffs and our families and our customers.
Well, and that's more than ego. You want the firms to stay in business, too.
Oh, absolutely. And I'd like my theaters to be there, too.
Peru, Illinois, hello.
Yes, Larry, great show.
Thank you.
Your first guest is suing several groups of people she claims were negligent.
Right.
But was she not negligent in breaking prudent rules of investing by putting $40,000 in only one company's hands, which is not a prudent way to invest?
Jerry?
I'd like to answer that. I think if you had been me and you had been working with this bank since 1969 and it was like a family affair, and you read a prospectus that identified that ACC had $5 billion in assets, and every one of the tellers and every one of the salespersons was telling you that the money was just as safe as if you had put it into a CD, you would have taken the risk too.
Los Angeles, hello.
Hi.
Well explained, Joe. Los Angeles, hello.
Hi. I've been trading corporate bonds in Los Angeles for the last 6 years, and my question's for Jerry Mellon. I remember a couple of years ago getting the first phone calls about these junk CDs, as I started calling them. Comparable CD rates at the time, I remember in 2 years, were 8 to 8.5, and single-A taxable bonds were 9 to 9.5, and these bonds first came out at a 10%.
That's correct.
I would think that the high rate of return would have triggered some kind of alarm in every investor's head, or were they trying to get something for nothing?
Yeah, Jerry, didn't that trigger something off for you to high?
Well, it was a little high, but we felt for a period of 7 years, when interest rates maybe would be going up, that we would be satisfied with that maybe 1% higher than what you could get on a CD. It wasn't greed, it was just sort of a permanent income for us. And remember, the majority of the people that invested were the aged population.
Minot in the Dakotas, hello. Minot, hello.
Hello.
Yes,
Larry?
go ahead.
Yes, sir. Up until 2 months ago, I was a CEO of a thrift, and you're talking about the basic in the industry who are being affected by this whole mess. And my concern is that the RTC has never had any concern about the employees of the thousands of institutions that they're affecting. And in my own institution...
I can't get that long involved. Basically, are you saying that the RTC is not interested in the people who work in the savings and loans?
Absolutely.
Do you agree, Jack?
I have no knowledge of the RTC. We deal with the OTS, which regulates institutions which are still operating, and they've been very understanding and cooperative.
Jerry, what do you think?
The RTC is running Lincoln Savings right now.
Right.
And they are very concerned about their employees. They feel as though they're treating those employees as though they're their own.
Ralph?
They have been very cautious about...
We have at our bank, the loan officer who's still there. That loan officer, when my lawyer went in to ask about information to pursue the RTC and to get our claim in front of an audience, he specifically by that loan officer that there was no recourse against the RTC, that the bank was in bankruptcy, and even refused to give my lawyer the name of the local branch manager that was put in by RTC. And fortunately, my lawyer went to Valley Forge and to Atlanta and made some phone calls and was aggressive enough and finally got cooperation from them.
Thank you all very much. We're going to do more on this, and I salute you for coming up and talking about it. We will in a minute meet Jim Miller, the former director of OMB and a member of the Ronald Reagan cabinet, and a financial consultant. We'll discuss the S&L mess. Mr. Eli blames the Reagan administration. Mr. Miller says no. I'll referee. Don't go away.